we're back. And if you're like me, well, you're not like me because I'm sitting next to Dan the Man, as we just saw in the video. And what a great gem to meet Dan. This is the first time I met Dan. I've seen you for probably 13 years at least.
A lot more than
because
that.
I wonder who is the, well, at least for me, who is the guy that's running on the side of Silver Bell in shorts in sub-zero weather? And it happens to be Dan Dewey. Here he is. So thank you for joining us. And boy, you have an incredible story to tell. And I'm going to let you tell a little bit of it, but I want to ask you some questions too. So, so obviously we saw how you started your journey with your father, and he, what, did he give you a credit card or what did he do?
No, when I got him home the second time, they cured him, and I said, they seem to like this. Should I keep doing it? And he said 3 words. He says, yeah, go ahead. And this was a smarter man than me, so I have been doing it for the last 6 years since I brought him home. At 6 full years at St. Joe's and a year and a half at Beaumont.
Wow, okay.
And the girl had called from Beaumont, emailed from Beaumont and said, would I bring her a coffee? And I said, sure. And of course my friends that are cynical go, well, now you have to go everywhere. And I said, not unless they ask, I'm not going everywhere. But I went in for her, and she got all the credit. Everybody would sit around her, and I'd say, Kim, I'm here because of Kim. And a lot of them had seen the video and stuff that Fox 2 had done. So then you walk in, and just to see somebody smile when they're sitting in a chair with getting the chemo infusion, it's just, that's the part that's priceless every time. Every week, somebody smiles that just, I'll never forget.
That's
it's
amazing.
Just so wonderful.
So I'm sure you're doing it for the money, right?
Yeah, that's what I told my cousin. I said, I finally find a job I'm good at, but I have to pay to do it. That's
so tell me a little bit about that. How does it work? So how many days a week do you do this, right?
Wednesday afternoon at Beaumont, because it ends up usually 50 drinks over there.
Wow.
And Thursday morning, because that's when Father always had the set time, 10 o'clock Thursday, and that's usually 25 or 26 drink. But that's when the Fox 2, a year ago, July, interviewed me. He says, I showed him I had a list. He goes, you take the orders. I goes, well, how else would I know what to bring? You know, so he was a little cynical himself, you know. And then the one lady, the next month was a free press. Well, these people would meet me at Starbucks. I didn't know they were coming, because I tell people I call in sick if I knew they were coming. Because I kept saying, it's not about me.
Right.
But she was waiting for me. She says, well, why do you go to Starbucks? That's expensive. I says, well, who wants gas station coffee? You know, plus when you mention that to them, they oh, okay. You know, and I said, whatever you want, you know, like this. And it is just so fun to walk in, and the nurse made me a sweatshirt that says Dan's Coffee Run. And I always wear the shorts, even last week, which got a little drafty. Because that just, you walk up to somebody who's sitting in the big blue chairs, and they're all the same kind of chair, and they look at you and they see the shorts, and now they're in another world. They're thinking, who is this guy? Is he crazy? So my joke is they see me for the first time, they go, please don't let him be the doctor. That's the first thing. Then I'll say, would you like something to drink? Free coffee day? And I'll pick a nurse that's around us. I go, she's buying, what do you want? And they go, they always say the same thing at first when they go, I'm fine. And I go, you're fine, you're nice, everybody loves you. Now, would you like something to drink? That's my standard routine. And that starts this first smile. And then usually takes a little bit, and the nurse comes over and they order something, or he won't go away like this. So we work it that way. And it just builds from one person to the next, and then somebody will say, I saw you on TV. You're famous. I go, that's not about me. You know, it's about people that are working here and about the patients. Just to distract them, give them a treat, get them out of that mindset for a while, and then to show respect to the nurses and the doctors. That's what they do all day, every day. I'm only there a couple times a week. They're there all day trying to. It's all good, and these people have become my friends. A lot of them. It's just wonderful. So I usually come with a prop, and my latest thing is I'll have a thing with me, and they go, no, I'm fine. And I go, all right, now wait a minute. Now I do a 3D version. I go, ooh, like this, and it makes them smile every time. I don't know. It's simple, as silly as that is. It makes them smile. But I'm just naturally goofy. I got in trouble in Lake Orion High School forever. I mean, when you spend that much time in the principal's office, you're going to get good grades because you have time to do your homework. That's what I tell people. But when I go in there, it's fun to be silly, and they all like it.
Absolutely.
You know, that's it.
Well, two things struck me about your video. One, I knew a little bit about your story, and I knew you were a runner and pretty avid because I just saw you recently running through the snow. I didn't know you took orders, which I was pretty impressed. I thought the same thing. Oh, I thought you showed up with the tub and you poured it, but no. I mean, it takes quite a bit of skill to balance you.
It does, yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to that really struck me was the respect that the staff and the doctors have for you, which is really incredible. I think the line they said he is a caregiver here as much as we are, which is really a testament to what you do.
It just thinking about it gives me goosebumps, because those people in there, they're all the best, and they. I don't have any problem going in there.
Right.
If it was an ice storm or if I had a flat tire, I'd park the car and run down there. Because a lot of times they'll say that. Well, did you run here? And they forget that I'm a senior citizen, and they would say, well, what are you running this week? Another marathon? I go, well, maybe, but not maybe this week, But every time I run a marathon, I'd bring the medal in. And again, they'd all, hold on to it and look at it and stuff. So it was.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your running, because that's another interesting thing. If people live in Orion, I'm sure they've seen you.
Yeah.
They've lived here for any given amount of time. So you're a runner. Tell me, how many marathons have you run?
68.
Come on.
Honest, you keep track, believe me.
That's a lot of miles. Like for me, if I want to go that far, I just get in my car and drive.
Yeah, it's too far. Everybody does it, decided it's still too far. My good friend calls it the first 20 is one race and the last 6 is another race. And then like last year in Detroit, all these people take off like the herd, and I'm just, plodding along my normal. I get to Belle Isle and we still got 4 miles to go, and here's all these people walking. And here's the old guy in the gray hair going by him. That can't be pleasant when you're young. But there's nothing left. They've used it up. Now they got to walk to the end if they can.
Right.
And it's just such a wonderful experience. The best one was probably the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago. Every water stop, there were 10 Marines in camouflage giving you water, encouraging you. And at the very end, there was a Marine standing there, and he goes, "Congratulations, sir," and he hands you the medal. And you just stand there and you go, "Thank you." One of these. Plus, you went through all the monuments. I'd recommend that one to anybody. That was just a wonderful one. But they're all good. They're just a full, rich experience, and when you get done, you get a medal. And one of the nurses at Beaumont wants me to coach her now. Her first marathon, her husband talked her into it in May. So every week she expects a tip. So every week I have to go in there with another tip to give her, like I'm an expert at this. All you do is show up and try to make it.
Listen, you're an expert. You can't downplay you're an expert. You ran 68 marathons, for crying out loud.
And most of them in the last 10 years.
If you're not an expert, I don't know who is. So
but it's just really, it's not as much fun when you're towards the end, but right now you think back and it's fun that you got there. And every time you still, I like Detroit, the guy will say, towards the end, one of the people on the side will go, "You've done this before." Like this, "Yeah, a few times." Then they'll say, "How many times?" And I tell them, they go, "Whoa," like this. That works. That gives you the thing to keep going.
Well, it's on my bucket list, but it's down a little ways. So
you might want to keep it down a little
I'm
ways.
going to check in with you, give me a couple years here. I might be looking for some training tips.
See, that's the gray hair. There's no hurry. This is,
By the way, I heard today someone calls you the Silver Fox because you run down Silver Bell Road.
I get a lot of them, but that's a good one. I don't mind that one.
All right. So I wanted to touch on your running a little bit, but I think I want to take the last couple of minutes and really focus on your mission, which is this coffee delivery service you have for chemo patients. So I want to give you an opportunity to maybe share one story or something that's been most impactful in that in your journey.
Well, it really much every week there's one story. There's a smile I will get in the course of each time I go in that is unforgettable, because the person really never thought they were going to smile. That's what I think. They're sitting there and they're going, "If I can get through this," and all of a sudden they're smiling, and it's just the purest, deepest look. And they go from what I call, it's like a little meter. They're down here and they're solemn and quiet, and they're going to deal with it. And here's this guy in shorts that wants to buy him a coffee. "Please go away, I got enough problems." So then you work on them. Pretty soon the meter's getting better. And by the time you bring it to them and they taste it, they go, "Wow, that's good." Now the meter's over here and they're smiling.
Right.
And every week there's somebody that just gives me a smile that I will never forget. And somebody will say, I just missed you or whatever, and I'll say, "Well, let me know what time and I'll come at your time." It's stuff like that.
Well, that's cool. I'm a big fan. One of my favorite movies of all time is Pay It Forward. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so I had my first little chance to write a little letter to the community. That was my challenge for the winners, to watch Pay It Forward and to really follow that young boy in that movie, what he did. And we have our own little version of Pay It Forward right here in Orion, so we don't need to watch that movie. But I would challenge you, if you haven't seen that movie, that's a great family movie.
It's just, it worked. They convinced me in the beginning to keep getting interviewed because it makes other people think about volunteering. And that was the lesson I got, was that, okay, I'll keep doing this. And this is now, honestly, the 18th time I've been interviewed in the last year and a half. And I don't mind at all because they've convinced me how that will make others think about it. And when the time comes, you can do something like I did. I wouldn't have planned it, but there was my father, and both my parents were volunteers forever doing stuff,
Right.
so it's a genetic thing, I guess. It was natural for me to do it, and I'd look forward to it, but I walk in, like at Beaumont, when I walk in there, it's always crazy. And when I walk in the door, it's like cheers. They go, Dan! And it's just this loud, for a few seconds, they're in another better place than trying to deal with it all. And and one guy sits in the back, he's there every Wednesday afternoon. He sits in the back, David is his name, and he'll look at me from the back and not say a word, and he'll just nod his head. And I know what he wants, so I nod back. And the people that have seen that just go crazy. They go, how did you do that? I go, it works, we got a system, like this.
Well, what does he drink then?
Oh, caramel frappuccino.
See?
Extra caramel.
Extra caramel.
And he sees me, for sure. And last week there was a woman, it was like 16 chairs lined up. And I got to the very end, she looked at me and she was testing me. And I go, chai. And the people around her, that's impressive. I says, I don't know where that comes from. I thought I had Alzheimer's. I says, I don't know how this comes from, but it's fun. So I just use this attitude just like this. First of all, like last week, it was 10 degrees and I had shorts on. So that really worked. And when I went into St. Joe's, because I know them the best, it was 15 degrees and I wore a scarf. Still had shorts, but I had a scarf on. And that just cracked the place. That took them right out of the door.
That's amazing.
But they're just so wonderful people. It's easy to be respectful of them and to just go in there. And when I do have to wear pants, and they make fun of me. So they make fun of me in shorts, they make fun of me in pants. So they win-win, and I'm just glad to be there.
And I got to say, I'm a little disappointed because although you at home can't see this, he is wearing pants today. So,
yeah.
But I just want to say a couple things in wrapping. You are a very humble, great person for our community. I know it's not about you, but I want to be one that says it. You are on the front page of Reddit, which is a big deal. You're on the news, and even before we started this segment, we were going to watch the movie, and you said, no, I don't watch it.
No,
I'm not doing it for me, which is just amazing tribute. So
I can't watch any of it, and so that when I walk in, it's the guy that lives on Judah Road and Little Dirt Road, very quiet. I drive to the hospital and walk in, and it's one-on-one. Now the rest of it, I have no idea what happened or that stuff. But if it works for other people, that's fine. And like the people will say, you're famous, I saw you on TV. And the doctor goes, I need your autograph. And you're going, it all works. If they keep going with that, and what's fun is like when I make a list, and I have 20 drinks on the list, very few are regular coffee, which means my thing is working. Because now they've expanded their thing. What else can I get?
Right.
Things that I have no clue what they are. Not a drop.
Right. Well, have you? And did I hear right that you talked to Howard Schultz, or you may have known?
Better than that. He's the guy that created the Starbucks, and my joke forever was I just want to meet him, shake his hand, thank him for bringing coffee back into the world, because it got a little lean there for a while.
He should shake your hand for all the business you've given him. But
they, one of the accountants in the floor below him, she said, called me 2 weeks ago, and said, we want to do something for you. And I go, what do you mean? We want to raise some money for you. And I go, okay, what do you need? I go, I'm fine. I says, I got a few challenges, obviously, but I'm fine. And I says, Lisa was her name. I says, whatever you want to do. And it was so cool because she says, we're doing a bake sale. Now here's his headquarters of this modern day big time business, and they're doing a bake sale. I mean, it's like Norman Rockwell. It was just, the whole thought was better than if I'd have suggested something. And so last week they FedExed a check to the Square Lake Woodward place in the Starbucks, and I went in there and they had it, and they had to take my picture with the they'd sent, because whatever they put, he put more in. So I have a check with his name on it.
Wow.
Which I had to cash, obviously. I couldn't hang on to that, but that was pretty nice because it wasn't a company check; it was his private thing.
Wow.
So that was a wow. That was like as big as it gets right there. So I can still wait to meet him someday. That's fine. But that counts pretty good, and that shows you. What he believes in. They kept their health care during the recession. And it was a great story with that. I mean, he wouldn't cut anything because that was all important to maintain. He's just that, obviously he's that solid a person, and maybe someday I will shake his hand.
Well, that's great. Well, I would just say that he needs to meet you, not vice versa, because you're one incredible person. And I want to thank you for taking some time out to come down and tell us a little bit about your story. And I think if you check on the screen, you'll be able to see where we can keep up with what you're doing, and maybe if somebody wants to get involved. But anyway, thank you for coming out. It's great to meet you. And what a challenge it is for those of you in the community to look what Dan did. And so please jump in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. We hope to bring exciting updates on a monthly basis through this show. And have a great week until next time.
Thank you.